This week, we're preparing for gaming's busiest period. September and October are absolutely stacked. Publishers are racing to get their games out before GTA 6 arrives, and the result is one of the most crowded release schedules we've seen in years. So how do we decide what actually deserves our time? Which games are day one priorities? Which ones can wait? And how do we avoid completely destroying both our wallets and our backlogs? All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I'm your host, Liam Kirkkelvin. Today I'm joined by the bearded one, Scott, the OG tastemaker Curry. How are we, Scott?
Good evening, Liam. I can't stop singing that fucking song. I can't stop it. It's irritating the ever-living fucking life out of me. But I'm fine. I'm actually very well. It's been a decent wee day. And a very tiring week since we've last recorded, you know. I think that we're all trying to balance the books and spreading our cheeks for the impending release. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Same as you. Like, that just caught me off guard, spreading the cheeks. Yeah, it has been a week, man. Like, Summer Game Fest has kind of been and gone. We're in the aftermath of it all. Some good, some bad. We managed to cover pretty much everyone bar the Nintendo Direct, which we can kind of recap on here. If you want to get some old, more grounded reactions to all the stuff that's happening out there, just go on our YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. All the Pixel Reacts is up there for SGF, Xbox Showcase, and PlayStation State of Play. Spoiler alert, if you want to hear it's been really grumpy, go listen to the SGF one. Because it was a shanner. But yeah, it was a good week, man.
Or it was the best gaming showcase of the week, depending on who you fucking listen to.
That's also true. I think it's been a good week for that. You know, I think we managed to get 4 episodes out last week, which is mental, all things considered. But only bit comes once a year. Lots of stuff to kind of look at. I think after that, I'm just kind of like, right, what's next in terms of what do I want to play and keep myself organised, and that's kind of inspired the main chat this week, which I'm looking forward to getting into. But I think, you know, that we kind of get carried away with the hype, but I suppose it's that sobering realisation, isn't it? It's like, how the fuck am I A, going to find the time, and B, the money to be able to play these games? And the answer obviously is you don't have to buy and play them all, but I also say fuck that, and we'll get into more on that later. But I'll get some housekeeping out the road, of course, so we can get into stuff. But for those that are old and new, you do know that this is a Pixel Parents podcast. That is my dog doing a Fred Astaire impression in the background, and this is a weekly gaming show.
He's there for the first time.
By parents discussing all things gaming whilst raising little ones. You can get new episodes every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So please subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss our gorgeous tired faces. You can find us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social or email at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. You can support the show for free as well at patreon.com/pixelparents. You get all the bonus stuff, community chats, and it will always be free. And we're also on Reddit, r/pixelparents. We're everywhere. But whatever you do, if you can share this podcast online with your friends, anything at all, it helps us out. So a massive thank you to everybody that does join us each and every week. Now, Scott, September and October, as we mentioned, is absolutely rammed, but I want us both actually to start with Nintendo and that Nintendo Direct. Just a little tip of the cap. The Ocarina of Time remake is real. What did you make of that Nintendo Direct this week?
I thought it was pretty good. I think that second year of the Switch 2 obviously has to be about games that are going to come from other areas. So like games like Devil May Cry 5, Lies of P, the Xenoblade Chronicles updates. These are all things that are known quantities, but they have to come, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have these games come to the console to make it worthwhile. It's not surprising that the majority of the games that are coming to Switch 2 from sort of previous consoles are from Capcom as well, because, we know that everyone loves Capcom. But no, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I think that it had its moments where it did, it did die in its arse a wee bit. But then, a really strong end to it with the Ocarina of Time announcement. Kingdom Hearts 4 is still alive and well, and is going to be available at launch on Switch too. Liam was obviously fucking buzzing for that. We got an announcement for Deltarune Chapter 5, which I was very excited about. Final Fantasy Resonance, the mobile game, is coming 2D HD or HT 2D to Switch. And, I was pretty excited to see Fire Emblem as well. Fortune's Weave showed up well with a release date announcement too. So, I mean, I got everything I wanted out of this, to be honest with you. I could have done without the 15 minutes devoted to fucking Thumb Wars. That was a bit of a pain in the arse, but that sounds a bit weird. But like I could have done without that. But it has made me do something that I never thought I would ever do again, Liam. And I will fetch what that is and come back to you momentarily on it. Why don't you tell the lovely listeners and viewers about your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it brief. It's not going to be like a full react, but I'm with you. It definitely was a big Scott Curry coded direct, but I was utterly delighted. I thought, the big headline here is the Ocarina of Time remake. I'm kind of glad with that tease. It was a special moment, and I'm really excited to see more of it. And the fact that I think they might have the bollocks to actually take on GTA 6 with Ocarina of Time. If there's one thing that's going to do it, it's that. And I think that's cool, because not everybody's excited for GTA 6, nor Ocarina of Time, or in my case, both. But I'm really excited to play that with my son. I actually rewatched the direct with him, just to kind of see it from a kid's perspective. And the Nintendo Sports Resort, man, I'm really excited about getting back to that. I think that's a game that will be good, in this era of, family gaming, and obviously making use of those Joy-Cons and kind of going back in time a little bit, and anything bowling, I mean, I'm there. The big, obviously, one that took the breath away was, take Ocarina aside, Final Fantasy Resonance, as you had mentioned. I'm a sucker for that HD 2D, and Scott has absolutely cursed me to now being in the Final Fantasy fandom. And it's, we're eating good. We're eating good. It is nice here. But I think, you hit the nail on the head. The second year of Switch 2 has shown more of that third party. It shows that they're actually going to be getting more of those third parties kind of closer to releasing their bigger cousins. And that's only a good thing. I was surprised we didn't see more of the, like Call of Duty and stuff like that as well on Switch, because that's a huge deal to get that on the console. But I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago. Switch 2 is a really accessible point for gaming right now. And the fact that you can get all these experiences on there is good. I think the post-show reaction, I think it focused too much on the stuff that isn't really too important that we can sometimes get bored on, which is, how was the structure of the presentation in terms of a piece of communication or marketing? And it's like, yeah, it was off. It did feel like it kind of lagged a little bit, but that doesn't matter, because when you've got those games in your suite, it doesn't matter. They can just whack it in the table, as we like to say, and that's it.
And Liam, it showed almost the same amount of games as Summer Games Fest in one less hour.
Exactly.
So I rest my case, and I also want to announce formally that I'm going back, Liam. We're going back to try and right some wrongs with Dragon's Dogma 2. I was in CEX this morning trading in 007 First Light, and I got quite a decent chunk of money, so I managed to pick up Pragmata, and also I had a wee bit left over, so I said, you know what, they're going to be updating it. Let's go back and see. Let's go back and have a look and see what's going on with this. So I'm going to go back and play Dragon's Dogma 2. Because I fucking hate myself.
Just to punish yourself. God.
I think I might enjoy it more without the pressure of having to finish it. If I'm being truthfully honest, I think that it might be okay. But I just look like the biggest fucking Capcom idiot on earth.
Do you know what? If you're on a Capcom high, let it ride. Let it ride. They're on an absolute tear. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised that you wouldn't be tempted to pick up the Switch 2 of all things, considering, considering that we're about to welcome the new addition to the Curry household in a matter of weeks, people. Matter of weeks,
It might even be sooner than that, but
Yeah,
yeah, I was considering it, but I think that the price was just too good to turn down, and
yeah.
I'm kind of keeping the Switch 2 ready and primed and waiting. I shocked myself that I actually own Xenoblade Chronicles on there as well. So I bought the Switch 2 upgrade, so I'm going to devour that just in time for Fire Emblem coming out.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the route that I'm going to take. But I'm spoiling all the good stuff, for fuck's sake. You're taking this all out of me now. But yeah, that's pretty much been everything in a nutshell. There's obviously something wrong with me because I'm going back to Dragon's Dogma 2.
You're in the hold mode.
I'm in horde mode. I think that's probably what it is. I'm just trying to bring as much games into my life as possible before everything goes tits up. So
yeah, well, it's not for long. It's not. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, I think it's natural when you're expecting another child and well, it's your first, well, it's your 10th. I think you do just kind of go into that hold mode. You're like that. I'll never be able to play a game again. You just keep on just hoovering them all up, and I think that's fair enough. I think it's natural. I think it's only natural because subconsciously you're probably just thinking, right, I want to get as much as I can in, whilst I can before I can't briefly. Then you get back into it. You know how it is, but. We saw a lot of games last week. There's, like we said, there's good showcases and bad. Just to kind of put a full stop on it. I mean, what was your top 5 games from that SGF week?
Right. Oh god, top 5. Christ, I can barely remember half of them. Never mind 5 of them.
Do you want me to give you mine whilst you cook yours up?
So I think, no, I think I'm okay. I'd say God of War, Layoff is definitely one of them. Despite all the fucking negative press that it seems to have had since from all the absolute fucking weirdo virgins that don't like people who don't look immaculate on screen, AI covered tools. It was gorgeous, and I'm buzzing for that. I said it earlier on, Deltarune Chapter 5 coming out June 24th. I'm honestly going to shit myself. I can't wait. I'm so fucking buzzing for it to come out. With Summer Games Fest, it managed to actually make me excited for something right at the very end. Having since gone back and watched the trailers multiple times, Liam, I can now tell everyone, and you'll all be happy to hear, that I am excited for Final Fantasy VII. No, I can't actually remember. Was it Revelations or something like that?
It was Revelations, yep.
I couldn't quite remember the name
of
it.
That's the Revelation.
That is the Revelation. So I'm buzzing to see that coming back. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I'm now all aboard the fucking hype train for Fire Emblem because Three Houses fucking stole my soul last year. Or this year, I can't even remember when it was, but absolutely ganting to play that. And I've got to wait till September, so I should be just out of the woods by then. I should be okay to kind of pick that back up. And having seen it a bit more and having had the demo in hand, Onimusha Way of the Sword is definitely up there as well. I don't think I could shock anyone. All games that represent pretty much me in a fucking nutshell. I'm absolutely choking to play that too. The demo was class. Maybe just a bit too easy, but I think the game director's come out saying that's on purpose. The game is more difficult as you play it, and that has me fucking gripped right by the balls, man. I can't wait. But I'm going to have another look. Well, you tell me yours. I'm going to have another look and just see if there's any more that I can actually pick out.
I'll save the last one because that might have flipped to something I've just watched. But God of War Layoff, of course, is up there. It's like you said, looks amazing, and like I said on the state of play reactions, there'll be these mad weirdos ripping their acorns off, and I say it again because I'm actually almost, it's predictable, but I'm like, man, did you not see the game? It looks fucking fantastic. Anyhow, it's top of the list there. Final Fantasy Resonance, of course, more on that as to why. But that's obviously shot right up. I've seen that and I'm weak for it. Do I finish them? No. Will I play them? Yes. Final Fantasy VII Revelations. It was the life raft, Scott, that I needed to endure another 2-hour Jeff Keighley show, which was fucking brutal. But that made it worthwhile. Was it, the best way to deliver it? No. But it made sense to be there. I think we said that in a prediction show because the big announcement really was it's all platforms, which is huge. Mm-hmm. And the game looks absolutely immaculate. And, this is what you've done to me. 2 of my top 5s are Final Fantasy games, so Scott will be cackling in his head just now. Obviously, very obviously, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I mean, that's just a slam dunk, really. And to the point where I thought I might not put on it, but I thought, let's just put it on there. Let's put it on there. Let's keep it real. And then that last spot, which I've got down here, is Gears of War E-Day, which I thought looked absolutely tremendous. I'm a huge Gears fan, and I'm really, really excited, and I like what they're doing. I feel like I said it's in safe hands. However, a trailer from that same showcase, which I was like, I'm cool, I'm in, I don't need to see more, and that was for Fable. And that today, time of recording, this is Wednesday. So there you go, how the sausage is made. Wednesday, Xbox had dropped a Fable gameplay, like deep dive, 30 minutes. And Jesus Christ, like, I think I might have to take ED out and put Fable in there, because Jesus, this game looks absolutely frighteningly phenomenal in terms of a systemic game. Something that the word they used was simulation, and the depth that they've managed to go to in this is incredible. I was even thinking, is this just some really hyper meta joke at Peter Molyneux's expense to kind of overpromise and really underdeliver? It might well be, but I'm hyped as all hell for February after watching it. If you're excited for Fable, just go on the Xbox channels on YouTube and just search for Fable gameplay deep dive. It's like 30 minutes, and it does a really good job of just showing you the possibilities whilst taking what would be a very straightforward path.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it looks like something that people are going to lose thousands of hours in if it manages to deliver on the promise. But yeah, that's my top 5 there anyway, man, which again, all games that
I think
tickle my pickle.
It's hilarious how many Final Fantasy games you have on this list. It's pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you. The fact that we are here in 2026 and that's you, less than me. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
ridiculous. But you know that's without even talking about things like Wolverine, Tokon Fighting Souls, Rayman, like all things from the PS5 state of play.
Clockwork Revolution,
Silent Hill Townfall, Clockwork Revolution, Control. Like, there is so many games that are just there that we're going to have soon. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's overwhelming how many games we have. Star Fox. I mean, have you checked out the demo for it yet?
I've got it loaded up. That'll be my plan this evening. Because as much as I'm really excited for it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my son with the demo, because it's going to live and die on that, because I'll probably play through it once or twice, then put it down. If it's something that has that replayability for him, I'll probably buy it day one. But the reason being I'm thinking that way is to come on the main topic. But yeah, it's there. It's locked and loaded. There was also like that Adventures of Elliot, which is out this month as well.
That's the thing. Like, there was games not even mentioned as part of these trailers that we're still thinking about as well. Like, you know, Adventures of Elliot, Metal Gear Solid Volume 2 Master Collection. Like, it's just games that haven't shown up. It's mad.
And that's a total collection purchase, you know, because it might not be something I might just drop everything and play when it comes out, but I have a fear that it won't be out for long. So it's like, just buy it. And I think that's just as someone, as we both know, you've waited that long to be able to play Metal Gear Solid 4 on something other than a PS3. You bite your hand off at the first opportunity, because it's an absolute 10 out of 10 masterpiece. But
it showed up ever so slightly in the Switch, the Nintendo thingy yesterday, and I got a wee bit giddy about it. I was like, oh, there he is on Nintendo. And then also got Ghost Babel coming from it as well, so buzzing for that. But yeah, it's just there's just so much. So
in terms of that's like to come. In terms of what we're playing this week, it's been a busy week. Have you managed to? You mentioned James Bond. Have you managed to finish that? Any other games that you managed to play this week at all?
Not really. No, I've just been fanning about in Tome of Dachi Life and playing that with the wee one and creating, you know, loads of female characters on the island that just look like kids. That's basically what she does. She goes on and makes all of her wee mates, and then they run about the island and stuff, which is class. But they all look and sound the same, which from a creative point of view, Liam, is maybe, you know, sapping all my energy, but it's fine. You know, she's having fun with it. Played 007 First Light and managed to scrape myself through the story by the end. I was so tired that I fell asleep. I fell asleep like 5 minutes before the game finished.
Oh, man.
So I managed to finish it like the following day. And a fun old time, a romp as we call it in the industry. I don't think I'm quite as high on it as everyone else, but I think that's natural because I'm not a big James Pond man, you know.
Not very James Bond, are we?
Not very fond of Bond, but I just felt like it lingered too much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, you're always going to have these criticisms personally.
Unfair.
But yeah, I mean, it was good. I'd give it a 7 on the scale if I was going to
Yeah.
give it anything. I think it's a very good Bond game for what it is for a first go at it. And seeing how that develops over time will be interesting to see what happens between Amazon and MGM and fucking IO Interactive and stuff like that. It's how that relationship's going to work. Who the fuck knows?
I know.
Played a wee bit more of Lego Batman. Can't really be asked playing it anymore though. It's like I when I go every single time I go back to it, I get less fond of playing it. So
can I tell you why I'm on the same boat and it's dreadful? But I just want to kind of just batter through it a wee bit. And the structure of it is obviously really well tailored towards co-op, but I need to do it in secret because as soon as my son sees me do it, then he's going to jump on. And playing that game in co-op, as we mentioned the past couple of weeks, is excruciating.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to psych myself up for it to be in the mood. And that's terrible, but hey, we'll just be honest. And
it's true.
You do have to have the minerals.
Yeah, it's an indictment on the game because it is annoying. And even just playing it single player with a co-op shite, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Just give me the tools to do it all myself. I'm fucking Batman. Like, let me do it.
You could do what I did instead, which is just start playing Arkham City.
I mean, yeah, that might be the solution. Go back and play Arkham Knight. But
on Game Pass now, actually.
Well, I could do it. I could do maybe getting used to my Game Pass then. But yeah, it's just it's kind of things like that flitting about the Steam Deck. I've not really turned it on the last few days, to be honest with you. I've been flirting with it, but not.
Yeah,
I can't tie myself into something.
It's a busy time as well, though. Time.
I think after finishing those, it's been like, right, what next?
Yeah.
But I kind of just want to like enjoy some things. So with the Nintendo Switch, I've just been playing Vampire Crawls, just firing that on for a few rounds and then falling asleep as I'm playing it.
It's the best 100% you'll do. I mean, I'm not going to dig into this now. We'll save this little tease for the future episodes. But I mean, it's just, you know, you're probably, are you thinking like, I'll just keep that just in case? There's a wee pocket of time when the wee one's here.
I'd love to say I am, Liam, but I'm not. I'm not even thinking about it that way. I mean, I'm sure I'll get there, but I'm kind of planning. If I'm being truthfully honest with you, I'm kind of planning for like Xenoblade to be the handheld one. Nice. So like if I'm sitting on the couch and he's asleep or whatever, I'll have the Switch there that I can play it. So it's like if he's lying on me, then I can do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not really thinking about anything else, to be honest with you. There's nothing really. I think the only blessing that I have is that if he was to be born early, then I've still got a few weeks left that I can play Undertale when he's maybe like a week or two older. If I don't have that, and if he was to be born exactly on his due date, then I'll have enough time to finish. It's not Undertale. I'll have enough time to finish Delta in Chapter 5 before he's born. So it's like there's benefits and not benefits. But to be honest with you, it's not. I'm trying to think about the logical plan of what does gaming look like in that sphere once again. I can't even picture it yet. I can't even picture it. So I'll get there eventually.
We're getting close. We do have plans, but I'm very, very excited to kind of dig into that because it's going to be such a special topic. And before we bid au revoir to Scott, probably even do that next week actually, just to be on the safe side, to give a proper au revoir, and anything else is a bonus at that point. But we're very close, folks, so we can feel the anticipation. We're all excited. Scott's sweating. Life is good. But myself, I've picked up a big one because, like I said, you know, Bond's at the road. I tried to go on the platinum run, can't get soft locked out of it. Just a heads up, people that want to do it, you'll get to like chapter 9, and if you do the chapter select, it'll randomly assign gadgets to you, and you need the laser gadget to be able to get all the collectibles. So I put that down. Lego Batman, I was like, you know, so I've picked up again Octopath Traveler 0, and I'm enjoying it. You know, it's just something that I'm finding myself craving, going back to. And again, mentioned this before, like playing it on the Switch too. It's a delight. And it's just the thing that I'm looking forward to at the end of the day. Even took it into work this week, just kind of sitting. I just got a wee bit to sit and just managed to play a wee half hour on it, that type of thing. But it's just, these games are just fantastic. And I don't know what it is about them. I think it's how visually gorgeous they are. But then what I would say is the start is quite slow. So I found myself like falling asleep a couple of times because it is just like, fade to black cutscene, fade to black cutscene. If you played any of these games before, they're quite slow and kind of get into the dialogue. Luckily, I'll do what you do, Scott. Just tap A and just read it because you can read faster than you can listen in these cases. But I feel bad because it's like they've went to the efforts of putting voice acting in it when they really don't have to for this type of game, unless it's a side quest and it's all text. But the combat is just still just utterly fantastic in it, and I'm just really looking forward to kind of choosing my path. And I'm going down just to kind of get through what this story leads me to. But I've totally forgot that I've kind of got like a town building mechanic and all that. And it just made me think, I was like, man, that is becoming a bit of a trend now. Like you can build this, you can build a base. It's like, I don't want to. Like, I don't have time to build bases. I want to go out and just blow stuff up and fight people. That's all I want to do. But I suppose you don't have to if you don't really want to. But I've got this gap. The next thing up in the horizon for me is probably going to be, I think, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is the 9th of July. So that's kind of next on the horizon ahead. Is that a pirate pun? Not sure. But that's kind of what's coming up. I know. I can't wait, man. Cannot wait. But got a World Cup in between there and all that. And, it's like, it's an exciting time. And it's an exciting time. And, Scott, a tremendously exciting time for yourself, but I look forward to kind of coming up and visiting you soon when the wee one's here.
Right.
That's what you got to do.
Can I just acknowledge something? You're being very sincere and it's lovely, right? And I will come back to that in a minute. But I've got a book about Rasputin up there, and I didn't realise it was up there until I'm on camera.
I did wonder, but I thought, is this about the song?
No, it's about the man. Rasputin. I didn't realise it was up here. It was always downstairs, so that's quite funny.
I think your message must have moved that when you weren't looking.
Just not like a fucking nutcase reading books about Rasputin.
Hey, it's whatever.
Do you know he had a massive bobby, Liam?
Oh, did he?
Supposedly had a 13-inch bobby.
Jesus, couldn't one. He's legend. Oh, Jesus, lucky man. But where did you go from that? Where's the segue out of a 13-inch bobby? But I think for me, it's, I feel like I'm in a bit of what felt like a kind of intense few weeks, and now there's a little bit of a breathe, but it doesn't last long. I suppose we can move into our main topic because it is just this glut of game releases, and it always happens, but this year it feels a little bit more bloated than usual, and you can't play them all. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in our main topic this week. But before we do move on, if you enjoyed the show, you want to support us, you can. It won't cost you a penny. Just head over to patreon.com/pixelparents. You get all the shows, the chats, and side quests with Scott. Maybe we'll see what he does if he's got free time whilst he's fighting sleep. All free, all the time. And don't forget to subscribe us at YouTube, youtube.com/@pixelparentspodcast. So, Scott, we've got our main topic this week, which is kind of loosely titled Post SGF, Prepping for Silly Season. And really we're going to start, which is the big problem, the big elephant in the room, which is September and October. I'm going to ask an obvious question. Why is September, and I suppose October as well, suddenly so stacked, Scott?
Don't know, Liam. I can't think of the big looming threat coming in November, There's definitely not one massive game about to eat up all the mind share on that day in November. I couldn't think what that would be. I mean, I'm sure it might not have anything to do with Grand Theft Auto 6. It might be to do with another game in November, but no, it's definitely about Grand Theft Auto 6 being, the biggest game of all time. People are just like, fuck that. It's like, would they want the same thing to happen with Horizon? Just fuck that shit. So yeah, I think it's just the right thing. What it has created, though, is quite possibly one of the most ridiculous months, maybe even 2 months, that I can remember in recent history. Like, I could maybe put up with there being smaller titles amongst bigger titles. That would be fine, because then you would just buy the bigger games and play the smaller ones as they go. But these are all big, fucking chunky ass titles that you want to play. It is disgusting. I mean, you have done a great job at collating a list of games in September. I'm not even going to read you the dates. I'm just going to read you the games. Marvel's Wolverine, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. If you want to start playing it, Dune Awakening, Control Resonance, Silent Hill Townfall, Valor Mortis if you wanted to, Dragon Quest XI is coming to Switch too, Onimusha Way of the Sword, Minecraft Dungeons. I could go on and on and on. And that is just September. You know what I mean? Like, within the space of 9 days,
That's
10 days, we have some of the biggest games of the year all hitting at once. It's disgusting.
Yeah. And it really is disgusting. It feels like basically every week almost there's going to be at least one or two games over September and October that you're probably going to be like, I quite fancy that. And I suppose that's we've got something fun planned for this, but we just kind of want to talk about the general wider case. And the GTA 6 shaped elephant in the room, you know, is that a big game? Didn't even bother turning up last week, you know what I mean? Tiny game, you know what I mean? They market budget. They're skint.
Mate.
Absolute skint. No, I think they're going to probably slap this bad boy out at any point now. And they did say the marketing will start in summer. What's November? What's 3 months before November, Scott? Month-wise, help me here. I'm sure.
November's the 11th, so what is it, 8 August?
August, so they could effectively do that 3-month marketing junket from August onwards. Technically, it's still summertime, and just be like, yeah, this thing sells itself. We'll just start doing the big welcome to Leonida and that type of trailer that everybody's kind of waiting on, and yeah, just it goes into fever pitch at that point.
Is there anything quite like that though? Like the hype cycle for a Grand Theft Auto, there's nothing like it. No. We're talking about all these trailers coming out, an Ocarina of Time trailer coming out, but there's nothing quite like the build-up to a Grand Theft Auto. Like, you get to understand the world that you're living in, you get to understand the inhabitants of that world, and the music that's going to fucking take you through the game. Oh man, and just all the people on YouTube who create the most ridiculous content, like analysing tiny squares on the screen. Can't wait for it, man.
It's going to be insane, and I'm just really intrigued to see how the world reacts to it now. I think people are going to be doing a Gambit and Deadpool and Wolverine, just thinking, boy, I'm going to make a name for myself here, and just be like, it's a 4 out of 10, and it's like, just leave it out, man. Like it's one of the few games that could probably almost be immune to that type of patter. It'll find its own way to make controversy for sure. It doesn't need these people to kind of confect it. That's the point. But it's forcing publishers to move. They're all running scared, which is crazy because you're probably thinking, right, why don't you just release in January or February, which is already starting to fill up. Xbox have kind of stole a march on that with Fable. But it's not all about one game. It's about catering to not every game's for everybody at the end of the day. But you are thinking, guys, did you all need to pick that one day in September, like 24th of September? And mainly for Scott Curry, right? This is so many times over the past week I've seen trailers, and it's just like, oh Jesus, like that's just me feeling the pain for this man, because there's so many games that are not even ones you were like, I'd quite like to play that. It's ones you've genuinely been like buzzing and excited for donkeys since they've been announced. And it's like they're all landing like within 24 hours of each other in some cases. It's
nothing
insane.
Quite like it. Nothing quite like it in the world. It's ridiculous, man.
Oh man, it really is insane. But I think, I don't think we've seen a month this crowded for a good while, if not ever, as they're all basically trying to sell out their stall, get the sales in as much as possible before Christmas, because let's face it, that's going to be the order of the day, isn't it? What, a PS5 and I want a GTA 6 copy. Maybe somebody will ask for an Xbox. Highly doubt it. It's going to be PS5, PS5 Pro. Absolutely.
The thing is with it, Liam, and I know the topic isn't about Grand Theft Auto, right? But my last point on this, Grand Theft Auto could be shite and it still sell 1 million. A million copies within its first hour. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to have random punters who haven't owned a PS5 in their life suddenly buying them to play it. It's like, well, what other game can do that? Like, you have to be. I know Ocarina of Time is a big game, right? I get it. It's probably one of the biggest games of all time, but it's not Grand Theft Auto. Like, you're not. People won't buy Switch 2s to play Ocarina of Time. I think people might consider it, but I think mass market people are going to be, running to game stores to buy Grand Theft Auto 6 the minute it comes out.
Yeah, 100%. And that leaves us with this conundrum. So we've kind of got 2 months here, and I thought we'd kind of, before we do it, because we're going to just try and draft it, because we're going to think about this realistically. And we were talking about this off air, but the reality is, with all these games come about, we as gamers get locked in that hype cycle. I think I mentioned that at the start of the show. And it's like, I want to play this, I want to play that. But the reality is, there's only so much time and, units of currency that one has available at their disposal, because you've got to pay for the important stuff, bills, etc. And we are a big advocate of the hustle, but I've already kind of looked at stuff like, what can you trade, what can you sell, what can you do, XYZ, just to kind of get yourself ahead. And you do that because I think it's just being savvy. Others, if you've got more disposable income and you just want to go, that's great. But the reality is, you may be listening to other content creators such as ourselves, who are probably larger in scale, and they're talking about this in a way that it's not their fault. It's their reality, and it's their bread and butter. But they'll talk about it. I don't want their names, but it's like, I can't wait to play all these games, and let's divvy up for review and all the rest of it. And it's like, that's, again, in this day and age, when cost of gaming is becoming such a headline issue, it feels a little bit distant and disconnected from the audience, because there may be people out there that might just, maybe they just buy GTA this year, or they buy one game over the 2 months, they buy, 4 games, they buy one each month. It just depends. And I think you've kind of got to approach it more than ever from that perspective, as that you're not only just worth your time, but your money as well, because there's a lot there. And as gamers, the other thing that may seem obvious is, but Liam, you don't have to buy it. No one's forcing you. You don't have to play it. And my answer to that is fuck that, because we are gamers. At the end of the day, we want the new, and we live in a hype cycle. And of course, you're going to be energized and hyped towards something. And I won't make an apology about it. Is it a bad behaviour? Of course it is. But can you wait for a sale? Yes. And probably more than likely, that will be the destiny for a lot of these games on this list now, because it's only savvy to do so. But really the question is, at that point, and what ones do we absolutely go for? And I thought we'll just do a little draft of the September games and the October games. So I thought we'll try and divvy this up. So each of us has a day one must play. We get one that we need to wait for sale. We get one in a special Game Pass game. Now that could be announced, or something we think we'll hold off and roll the dice because we think it'll come to Game Pass. We'll then make a call for a surprise hit, and the one that's most likely to be abandoned by the gaming community, i.e. sent out to die. Scott, there's a little list here, and I'll quickly go through this list whilst you think about the top one, right, as your must play.
I don't like it.
I know, it's brutal, but here we go. Right, so you got Blood of Dawnwalker, 2nd of September. You got Halloween on the 8th of September. Marvel's Wolverine on the 15th of September. RuneScape Dragon Warriors on the 15th. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave on the 17th. Dune Awakening on 22nd of September. Control Resonant 24th. Also on the 24th is Silent Hill Townfall and Valor Mortis. And Hot Wheels Infinite Rush. And Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age. Followed by Onimusha Way of the Sword on 25th of September. And then Minecraft Dungeons 2 on the 29th of September. That's just to name but a few, but I've tried to list the ones which will be potentially on a radar of ours. Scott, out of that list, or the ones we might have not mentioned as well, what is your day one must play? And you can only pick one.
I can only pick one. That's shite, Liam. If I'm only picking one, it's Onimusha.
Yeah, locked.
But it would be Fire Emblem as well, if I could pick two.
Yeah, but you can. Of course you can. You can do what you want. So you've got Onimusha. Mine's is obvious. It's Marvel's Wolverine, because I'm like, right, that's top of the tree for me. Next up, what one do you wait for the sale?
It's probably Wolverine. Yeah. Then I think that's probably likely to be the one that I do pick up in a sale down the line.
Yeah, to flip it about, mine's probably Onimusha with the sword. Like, flip it around. Interesting. Game Pass
but then again, Liam, that could have been Silent Hill. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Silent Hill is going to be a day one. I think that'll be a game. I think that'll be one that I'll pick up in a sale. Game Pass game. If we're sticking with September,
Doesn't have to be announced on it, by the way. You could just take a punt, but it's just to be like,
Aye.
I feel that will come to a service. It's like Game Pass / PS Plus game.
But I want to keep it true to, you know what I mean, I think if you were looking at Game Pass only, I think there's only one game on that list that has properly been announced for Game Pass, and it's Valor Mortis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that does look interesting. It fits the criteria for a Game Pass game, but it's something that I think looks interesting, but I'll never play it. So yeah, I'll go with Valor Mortis on that, because I don't think any of the rest are coming to Game Pass.
I think for me, it's Minecraft Dungeons 2.
Yeah.
So I think that's one I want to check out with my son. I did try the original Minecraft Dungeons, but it was just a wee bit. He was younger at the time, wasn't great. So I thought, let's just give this one a bash. You know what I mean? See what happens. Surprise hit, Scott, out of that list.
It's a tough one. That's a tough one, because I don't think you can look at games like Control Resonant, be like surprise hit. Maybe Silent Hill Townfall could be the surprise hit of it. But I'm going to throw my hat in the ring, and I am going to go with the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Nice.
I have no prior knowledge of this game other than I know that they were the ex-Witcher devs, and I think that'll stand them in good stead. That hole needs filled, Liam, and Geralt isn't here to fill it. So, vampires are so hot right now, so let's go with that.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I'm surprised he didn't appear at SGF, actually, now I think about it. For me, I am going to go, and I've lost it on my bloody list here. Where the hell's it gone? Oh, yeah. Dune Awakening, which is a bit of a cheat code, but I think with that coming to consoles, I think it might just be that little kind of breakout hit that a lot of gamers will gravitate to, that might just be wanting that type of gaming experience, and the youths might be interested. With the new film on the horizon as well, it's all in play. Dune's Day is almost upon us. I think we've probably both got this one the same, but what's the one that's most likely to be abandoned or sent out to die?
I think you look at that list, and Control Resonance stands out. You know what I mean? Like, I wish it didn't, but it just feels like it's going to get swept up in the avalanche that is September. That's just going to be one that kind of falls by the wayside. I think it's going to be one that a year, 6 months down the line, we'll be looking at that game being like, yeah, people slept on that. You know what I mean? Like, that missed out on Game of the Year because, we didn't play it. It's just going to be one of those ones, but I hope it doesn't, because they deserve success.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, man. We've been saying this for the past week, haven't we? Like, I just have a bad feeling about it. Not the game. I think the game looks excellent, but for me, I'm like, if I've bought Wolverine the week before, I'm not sinking the money in Control Resonant the week right after it, because I've also got October on the horizon, and I'm probably a ball hair away for GTA 6 as well. But it's it'll be like 70 quid or something, and it does. This is not a commentary on the look of the game. It feels like there might be like a Titanfall 2, Battlefield, Call of Duty type situation where, like, somebody has to fall because there's too much at the one time. I feel that, Silent Hill Townfall will do really well because horror games so hot right now, but that has its own kind of market and community. Control still feels a bit weird, and I don't think the last one had a longer tail to it. Alan Wake 2, same thing, and I think it'll be the same story. Critically acclaimed, but it's not going to, like, you're not going to see those big announcements. 3 million copies sold in the first 24 hours and stuff. Yeah. If it does happen, amazing, because I want nothing but success for Remedy. And I'll do everything I can to hustle my way to get Control Resonant at launch, because I do expect that to be 9s and 10s everywhere. And I'm excited for it. However, I love Wolverine. So it's good to give. For me, I'm a big child at the end of the day. But
Wolverine.
I know.
But I mean, it is a tough one. It's a tough month because it could be any collection of those games. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think if I look at it realistically, if I was to pick games that I know for sure I'm buying, there's 2, and it's Fire Emblem and Onimusha. I think Wolverine will be a sale game. I think Control Resonant will be something I maybe get for Christmas, or maybe even my birthday. And then Townfall, I'll pick that up down the line. I think that a lot of these titles are things that I will be able to pick up later on, but there's games that I want to play now. Like, I've waited long enough for Onimusha. Like, I'm joking to play that.
Yeah.
And Fire Emblem, I want to get used to the Switch 2 around that time, so perfect for that.
Yeah, and also I think Fire Emblem just has like so much more value for you at that point as well,
Hmm.
because a game that size, you could realistically be playing that all the way up to Christmas and beyond. You know what I mean? And that's God's honest truth. Because obviously the day to day life's going to be different as well, and you're going to be adjusting to stuff. But then you've still got all these other games to come that get us in the way. It slows you down a little bit, and that's just being honest. Like
Yeah.
we are terrible for that. We do not condone it, but we're terrible for it. But it's just there's nothing wrong with wanting to play the new. But I think that's a good way to look at it. 2 games out of that, still a considerable investment, even with the hustling in that. So I mean, we're not taking that lightly.
Hmm.
For me, obviously, Wolverine, absolutely dying for that. My concern is that it's going to be like 10, 12 hours. I'll platinum it within 20. And then I'm like, And in which case, if I do that, then we could be cooking for Control Resonant, because that's probably next on the list. But then I've got Onimusha as well. And it's like, I'll wait to see Scott Curry's
Play
verdict
play the
on that.
demo, Liam. I think
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
know for sure if you want to play it with playing the demo.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal demo, and it's like it is easy in comparison to what you know from Souls like games, because it kind of follows that role, but it's so smooth. Like, remember when I first got Resident Evil 9, and at the very beginning of the game, I'd done this thing with Leon where I basically knocked some guy out of the way, put him down, and I shot him through the head, but it was like fluid, the movement for it. Onimusha does that, but it's like in one move, you'll like dodge out the way of someone, and then you'll just slice it, and it's like it's so fucking cool, man. Like it's class.
Nice.
And play it with the Japanese voice acting because he deserves it.
Okay, we'll do. I'll give it a go. God bless demos. That's all I'll say.
That's the
Thank
greatest
God they're
thing.
back.
Thank God they're back. You know what I mean?
I know. We should normalise it again. But let's look at October. So same rules, but we've got Don't Fret on October 1st. You've got End of Abyss also on the 1st, and Rayman Legends Retold and Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered all on the 1st. On the 2nd, you've got Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief. On the 6th, you've got Gears of War E-Day, Star Wars Galactic Racer. You've also got on the 9th, Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen on Switch 2. On the 13th, Planet Zoo 2. On the 15th, Castlevania Belmont's Curse. 16th, Tales of Eternia. 22nd, you've got Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. Also, Final Fantasy Resonance. Then you've got October 23rd, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Then you've got also on the 23rd, One Piece Grand Gourmet. On the 28th, you've got Anomalith. 29th, you've got Steins Gate Reboot. On 29th, you've got Phantom Blade Zero. And then on the same day, finally, Hello Kitty Party Land. Scott, there's a few creases in this one for me. But what is your day one must play?
This one's a bit more difficult, to be honest with you. I think October looks like the rest I need. If I'm looking at the game that I must play, it's probably going to be Final Fantasy Resonance.
Yeah.
Day one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's the absolute one that's going to be plopped out there first of the queue, first thing to pre-order for myself. Coming to all platforms, of course, but that's definitely a Switch 2 game for me.
Switch 2 game, 100%.
100%. Wait for sale. One of these ones that you think, I'll hold off on that.
Hold off for a bit. I'll buy it again after I fucking trade it in. Maybe Rayman Legends Retold.
Yeah, I like that.
I like Rayman Legends. I think that was one of my favourite games of was it last generation?
Yeah.
I fucking loved Rayman Legends, all the speedrun levels and stuff like that. I started watching like proper speedrun tactics to try and get good at it. And then I got stuck on one level for so long that I never played it. So I think I'd like to give it the old college try again. And it's showing off well. So yeah, probably Rayman Legends Retold.
For myself, if I'm being realistic, because I'm putting the 2 in 1 here, right? This is my wait for sale and surprise hit. It'll be Castlevania Belmont's Curse, because I just think at this point, knowing that month and what's in front of it, and I'll get to that in a minute, that's probably the one that I can see me picking up at like Christmas time if it's in the January sale type thing, even though I know that game's going to be absolutely excellent. And so I think it'll be the surprise hit, 9s and 10s everywhere. Game Pass game, I'll also accept PlayStation Plus game. Obvious. It's Gears of War, though, isn't it?
Gears of War, aye, probably. I actually forgot that it was on the list because I was looking at Call of Duty, like maybe, but yeah, Gears of War for sure.
Yeah. And what's your surprise hit from all that?
I'm between two,
Mhm.
with Phantom Blade Zero and Castlevania. Um, I can't live in a world where Castlevania is the most likely to be abandoned. So Castlevania Belmont's Curse is probably the surprise hit for the year.
Would that mean that Phantom Blade Zero is most likely to be abandoned?
Probably, aye.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I feel like that game it's just missed the mark if it's releasing. Then I can honestly see that sliding. I don't know what it is. Like if it's not absolutely 100% polished, just take the time. Just push it.
I mean,
You know
they've
what I mean?
fucking done it enough anyway.
I know.
Um, I think it will. I mean, it's only there by default. I think it'll be class. I think everything that I've heard about it sounds class. Um, but it's just whether or not I want to be buying that just before Grand Theft Auto comes out. Like, I don't think I need that in
Yeah,
my life. I think around that time I'll still be playing Final Fantasy. Um, I'll still be sort of working my way through that. So there's absolutely no, and you're talking about, a couple of months that you've got before you've got Grand Theft Auto, but you could be within that same month looking at fucking Zelda as well. So
yeah,
the
you're
the
right.
pennies have got to be saved somewhere, and Phantom Blade Zero just might be that game that gets bumped. But I
Mm.
know you'll probably want to be picking up Hello Kitty Party Land as well.
Well, of
So
course, it was nearly
it
the day
was
one.
it was nearly the day one game for yourself. But again, if I was to look at it realistically, thank fuck for Game Pass with Gears of War and Call of Duty. Like
Wait.
the well, maybe, but um,
Yeah, true.
like
Let's hope.
in fact, no, I'm not even going to say most likely to be abandoned is Phantom Blade Zero. The game that I think is most likely to be abandoned is Star Wars Galactic Racer.
Yeah, that's a close second, man, because I was watching everything I've seen of that game. It's screaming Squadrons to me, which is like Squadrons was great, but it was just too niche for its own good.
Yeah.
And I just think that's one you could probably that could have passed for most likely waiting a sale. That
Hmm.
is 100% going to be nearly 50% off come January, guarantee it. Like, and it's weird saying that, but I wouldn't rush out and buy that because you'll definitely get that sting. So, oh damn! Like I could have saved 35 quid.
So if I had to, let's just play a little game for a second, Liam. Right? If we had to look at Steins Gate reboot, if you had to guess what Steins Gate reboot is,
Mm.
what would you think it would be?
It's a game where you play it as a shoe.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, hit the nail on the head. Um, it is a sci-fi time travel visual novel
Mm.
following Rentoro Okabe, an eccentric university student running the future gadget laboratory in Akihabara, when his ragtag team accidentally turns a microwave into a device capable of sending text messages to the past. They unwillingly unleash a power to alter history, drawing the attention of the shadowy global conspiracies like CERN,
Mm.
SERN. So it's an anime game, Liam. There you go.
Whatever. Well, I'm definitely going to be
I
checking that out.
I pictured some mad like big armor with a huge hammer for some reason.
Yeah, because it's probably the Steen. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Something like that. Strong name. I think I'm looking at it, man. I'm like, the thing for me is Final Fantasy Resonance is definitely a day one buy. Thank God for Gears of War DD and Game Pass for me, because I'll be playing that in the Rock as well. Looking forward to that one. But it's the Nintendo Switch Sports Resort because the whole family thing, and it's like I'm going to see how long I can hold off on it. But it's just, and I probably will wait till after Christmas for that. Might even see if I can pick that up or ask Santa for one. But it's yes, it's one of those ones. Something's got to give because, like it says, if money was no object, man, I'd be picking up about easily, but 6 or 8 games across those 2 months.
Yeah.
But there's no way in hell that you would do that, nor would I advocate for it. And that's kind of the reality. And I suppose begs the next question, how many games do you think you could realistically play at once as well? Like, does having too many of them just make it less enjoyable, more like homework? That's the big question.
That was the problem last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That we
yeah.
had when we were trying to fucking do everything. Like there was a month, I think it was like March last year, but we were still working our way through Final Fantasy, playing fucking Dragon's Dogma, playing everything else that came out at that time as well. It was nonsense.
Mm.
I think realistically for me, Liam, it's if I have one game per console, that feels more manageable because I can switch between them. So,
Yeah.
like, if I had Fire Emblem on the Switch too, I can pick that up whenever I want. I've got Onimusha Way of the Sword on the PlayStation, and I've maybe then got Gears of War in October on the Xbox, and I can play that whenever I want. And then you might even find that, I pick up Castlevania Belmont's Curse on the Steam Deck or something like that. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just giving me all these different places to play these games. I've always hated that terminology, the best place to play. I hate that term. So I almost fucking fell into it. But I think that as long as I've got places to play these games, then I think if they were all sat on the PlayStation, I'd just be looking at them like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
if they all sat in that list, because I've done it before and it's overwhelming. So I think as long as you've got, I could maybe work on 2 or 3, maybe even 4 at a push on a normal Scott Curry timeline. That's probably an option for me. But on the timeline that I'm working at, potentially going to be working at around September and October, I mean, 1 maybe on a Misha at a push, maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I always try to, that rule of 3, have one big game and 2 other ones that I have on the go, and it's probably ones that I've probably started beforehand, and then it's something that I'm really excited for when it comes to the top. So, take for instance, Assassin's Creed Black Flag comes out in July, right? And I'll be playing that. Knowing me, I'm going to go for the platinum on that. So you're talking a good like 80 hours. That's going to take me months to do that, right? So I'm going to have that on the go, at least up until like Wolverine comes out. Then there'll be stuff in between like Octopath, and I'll have some like Forza Horizon 6 on the Xbox, or I suppose the ROG as well. And that's kind of the way I'll work it. And then you get into this time of the year, so then I'll be like, right, that becomes Wolverine, and then the big long one on the Switch, Final Fantasy Resonance. Then I'll have Gears of War E-Day, and I'll probably no, I'll pick up Call of Duty because I always do. It's a habit, but I do like that. There's something about that time of year that it's like that's my season for it, and I'll just go and do that. And I'm actually really looking forward to this one. I think they've got a good one in their hands. And let's face it, can't be any worse than last year. But I think the fact that it's a more grounded experience. The only thing that derails that, there was a rumor that there might be a port of Black Ops 2 coming, in which case, cool, job done. I'll get that instead, and I'll never have to play another Call of Duty again. I'll just play that all the time. But that's just me as habitual. But then there's a wee bits in there, like I'm thinking about the Switch Sports, and it's like, that's like, a family game, which is a new crease into it. But I'm thinking, that's something that maybe, as I mentioned, Santa could take care of that one for the kids, and that could be something we could all, a
Play
gift
over
to the
Christmas.
family. Yeah, because it's also the fact that I will have to consider getting more Joy-Cons, because I'm not sure if the original Joy-Cons would be compatible with that game. So
yeah, I suppose.
these questions, you mentioned Zelda. I mean, like, I actually have a funny feeling, and I'm going to put my stake in the ground now. I think that's going to release at the very end of November, Ocarina of Time. I think it's going to.
It's a good time for it.
I think
You
they're
get
going to
a-
go for the Christmas window.
You get a bundle out there with fucking Ocarina of Time in it. Just absolutely shag the market for that period.
Exactly. Because I think Nintendo have identified there's a gap in the market here that none of them have really looked at, which is not every gamer's over 18. And that's it. It's going to get a big chunk of the pie, like 95% of it. But they're like, do you know what? What about these kid gamers? Let's sell some Switch 2s. Let's put Ocarina of Time sorted.
I agree with you, right? Because I think that they're showing that in everything they're doing so far. But what proportion of the world's children, Liam? Because we all know that I believe the children are our future, right? And I think Nintendo, say that if you teach them well, and you can let them lead the way. But how many of them do you think really care about Ocarina of Time? Like, genuinely, they look at that trailer and they go, "Holy fuck!"
What age is the oldest kid?
12. I don't think it's that appealing to them. I don't think Star Fox is appealing to them either. You've got fucking arseholes like ourselves that are excited for it. Star Fox might do well if they actually play the game, but I don't think you look at that and you're like, oh man, maybe the film has done something for it. Maybe the Mario movie will have done something there for that. But
that's exactly my point. I think that's been the masterstroke. That's why he's there. You know what I mean?
But Link is just like, I can see the criticism for that trailer, right? I don't think it's bad. I think I think it's exactly what they should be doing. You
Mhm.
know, like I think the only way you could have made it better is just have Navi there
Yeah.
saying listen, and then that would be it. Just cut it off there, and everyone fucking shit their breeks. But I just think it required something more. But it will get that. You know,
Oh yeah.
if you're talking about that younger audience, they're just going to be playing it on Switch 2 that their parents own, and that's fine. It's just
I think the thing that everybody's probably missing is the fact that there's quite an obvious marketing tactic going on with Nintendo, which is they're going to make the youths care through the only form of media that they can really bank on, which is movies. And I
mhm.
think what we're going to get is a Zelda Direct later, and probably in a few months' time, maybe just after the summer, where you get your first glimpse of the movie, like the first official teaser of that. And it might not even just be finished because they're still filming, but it will just be something in motion that will show him. And it's like they're trying to do that kind of wider spectrum of like, let's get all eyes on this as possible. Oh, you're excited for the movie? Play the game. You know what I mean? You're excited about the game? Here's the movie. You know, that type of approach. And Star Fox, I'm with you. Like, you know, it's one that I think they're banking on selling that to the younger ones because that movie's made over $1 billion already. It's huge. My son knows Fox McCloud now just because of that movie.
Mhm.
Yes, we played Lilac Wars, but he's not recognisable to us because how he looks at the movies, how we remember him from our head, like, playing it as a kid. But if you go back and show that to a kid now, yeah, you're right. It's like, this looks like dog shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I've done it. I've done it recently, so I know
yeah,
exactly. I know exactly how that works.
yeah,
Right. Here's your next question, then, Liam,
shit.
because you've mentioned the Zelda movie, right?
Mm.
Who plays Ganondorf?
Who plays Ganondorf? Um, the honest answer is I think they find someone unknown to do it, but I wouldn't surprise me if they get a Hollywood name, someday like Nick Offerman or something like that to play him. You
No,
know what I
that
mean?
would fuck that.
You know what I mean?
I want a big pure dickhead playing him. Like,
Who was that guy that was in Reacher again? The big,
oh, what's his name?
big, big
Big
gains
fucking
guy.
buff guy.
Like
Reacher.
attacked somebody outside his house recently or
Aye,
something like that. But
it was self defense.
yeah,
His name Alan Richardson.
yeah,
Talk about him
somebody like
playing
that.
Batman. He's too buff for it. You just want a big guy, like a Lee Pace or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
or oh god.
Wembenyama for the Spurs. It's
Aye,
getting
there you go. Aye, he's not doing anything anymore.
like,
I'll come back to you on that. I'll think about it myself because I've asked you the question, but I didn't actually consider it myself. But I just think you need some big guy to play him.
Ross
But that's
Kemp.
Ross Kemp on toast.
Ross Kemp is Ganondorf. I mean, the tickets just sell themselves.
It,
Forget the
it
Odyssey
really
this summer.
does. Aye, Chris Pratt.
I think they should for a laugh.
Oh, I googled it, Liam.
Uh,
I googled it, and people are saying Javier Bardem,
oh, that is a good shout, actually. Aye. This is worth dealing.
Andy Serkis.
I mean, you know what? You know what you're getting. He's reliable. You know what I mean? If you're needing that mocap type treatment, and the guy does quality work, but I think he's in his director's era.
The
He's just
Rock.
also been, oh, Christ. Ganondorf just pitching Zoa.
What's the name of the guy? What's the name of the guy? Hellboy. What's his name again?
Oh, Ron Perlman. That could also work. I think
I've now fallen down this rabbit hole.
you really have to. They would just get to just harp names. It'll be like they could go down the other route. Somebody just with acting jobs. Like Adrian Brody or something like that. Or,
Mate,
Josh
Adrian Brody
Brolin.
would be fucking class as it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like Oscar winners. That's where they're wanting to go down.
Oh,
it will end up being Chris Pratt, though. We know that, but.
Imagine it was The Rock.
I would. Do you know what? I'd be there. Or
He would market that game fucking more than anyone else.
Oh my god! I'm looking forward to see what they do with the film, and with it being shot in New Zealand and stuff. But to answer the original question, I think kids probably don't care, but this is. I think they've thought about that, and here's how they try to do it because they're trying to build legacy brands in the 21st century with children, which is to get them through different means of experience. So you've got the theme parts, so it's like let's make them feel like they're missing out on something because not everybody can go. Let's do the films so we can get that, and everything's designed around creating shots. Let's announce the biggest kind of remake project in our history with Ocarina of Time. And already you go on your TikTok, it's shot after shot after shot of watching unks like ourselves just react to this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's the approach that they're taking, just to really try and embed this subconsciously. Like, this is something you should be excited about. And youths, listen up. This is something special. That's the point they're trying to get across.
I mean, yeah, having played it for the first time within the last few months, I can safely say that I am on board the hype train for Ocarina of Time. I can't bloody wait. Take me straight to the Gerudo, the Gerudo fucking place, and let me hear that music all over again.
Man. When you heard that, I just wonder if they're going to. I suppose it's questions to be answered in another episode. There's so many. Like, are they going to expand upon it? Are they going to make the water temple easier? Who knows? Hopefully they do.
I hope make it harder.
Can you imagine Wayne's greeting? So we went through everything there, Scott, right? But to kind of sum up, right? If it started tomorrow, you could only choose one game from everything. What one is it? What's the number one?
It's a toss-up, Liam. I have to come at this from the prospect of value. It's a value versus nostalgia. Heart and head, quite literally, actually. My heart tells me it's Onimusha because I want Onimusha in my life. But I know that'll be finished and gone before I even think about it. I think the real answer to all this, and, it pains me to say it, but the real answer is Dragon's Dogma 2, Dark Arisen. The true answer to this is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I think if I have to look at it in terms of 4 separate protagonists, 4 separate stories, I could be doing that for years, months, decades, my whole life playing that game.
Yeah, 100 hours easy.
Still never finish it. So it is probably Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I'm totally with you in the logic as well. My heart's saying Wolverine, but my head is saying it's Final Fantasy Resonance. And you know what?
I believe that. I actually can't believe this is ever reality.
But you have people. This man has abused me.
I don't know about that.
I'm now into Final Fantasy. It's ridiculous. The fact that I'm watching these things this past week, and I'm like seeing a Final Fantasy, I'm like, oh my god! And they did the Final Fantasy X and X-2, and they've announced a Switch 2 port of it, and I'm like, oh, the HD remaster, and I'm like, I've got that in Switch 1, and I'm sitting here like slabbering, waiting for an upgrade path. They've not announced it yet, and I don't think they're going to, but I'm like, oh, because I'm right at the end of Final Fantasy X, and all I need to do is just I should actually probably go back and try beat that this week instead of continue my Octopath, but absolutely loving my time with it, but I can't give my full verdict until I finished it. You know what I'm like? And I'm wanting to see it through. It's just this one boss battle that is doing my nutting, but they had the fast battles option. I think they've also had the option to skip battles as well. I'm not sure how, because you wouldn't be able to get.
I didn't even know it was done, Liam. So I actually didn't even know what you're talking about when you mentioned it. This is the first time I've even looked at it.
Yeah, well, they're doing a Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remaster port on the Switch 2. And it's got all I think it's more closer to the PC version than what they released on Switch, which I had bought at the start of the year because that was one of the games you've assigned to me this year. Love my time with it, thought I'd finish it, but here I am. I was innocent beforehand. I would have seen that blips, muck, get it to one side. I'm sitting here playing it, fall in love with these characters. It's like, gee, what have I become? You know what I mean? Sitting here getting hyped for all these Final Fantasy games, and here I am picking it out of everything above fucking Marvel's Wolverine. Changed, man. But it's what you said is so true. And I think that's the message to hammer home to the audience, because it's like, we are not going to be sitting there getting freebies upon freebies and just being flippant about it. It's like our thought process will echo the same as the people at home, which is, what one am I going to get the most time out of? What one am I going to get my money's worth out of? And yes, you might get people on social media that would disagree. It's like, oh, our content doesn't equate to its worth. But unfortunately, in this economy, it does, because if you're investing something like that for your own entertainment, unless you're someone that enjoys replays, but let's face it, Marvel's Wolverine, you're platinum that in 20 hours based on like Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and you spent 70 bananas on it. Whereas you could play something like a Final Fantasy Resonance and you're going to be spending dozens, possibly hundreds of hours on that to see every last nook and cranny of it. That's kind of what it boils down to in day to day. And I think that's probably, we'll always keep it real. You just got to make sure that people understand that. And that's okay, because I think more than ever, we've got to be very, very selective about our purchases. And yes, things will happen, hustles will be achieved, and I'm going to buy more than one of these games in September and October.
Yeah.
But I do that every year. But it doesn't mean that I'm advocating that other people do that as well. Be strong out there, people. But if you can and you want to, hey, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. You go ahead and just be happy. That's what I want you to do. But I think in this age of hype, particularly within games media, which is just an extension of games marketing, let's face it, always has been, it's easy for that message to get lost. And the FOMO, that it creates in people is real. Yeah, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. It's drafty up here, man. Drafty as fuck.
Tell him.
So drafty. But yeah, I just think after a Summer Games Fest and this year of all years, it's like, Jesus Christ, because they don't stop. That's the thing. Yes, you can wait. And if you can, fair fucks to you. And I admire that. But me, I'm locked in this cycle now, guys. And I can't let go. But then you've still got the looming thing of GTA 6. Is it a £70 game? Is it £100? Is it going to cost you a liver? We don't know yet. I still think it's going to be 70 quid. But
a real human liver.
Here's the thing. GTA 6 announces tomorrow, right? And they say 70 quid, Scott. But there's a shiny editions. You know what I mean? Or they do 100 quid with GTA Online or 150 quid with some mad, weird collectible. What are you going for?
I'll just buy the standard edition. I don't think I need to have a trophy of, a statuette of characters that I have no love and care for at the moment. That's maybe something for down the line. It's not like having a Resident Evil trophy where you've got Leon Kennedy, bent over in precarious positions, or Tifa Lockhart. We've all seen those, but
I'll take some explaining.
It fell into my hand.
What's that, a statue of what? How'd that get there?
It's Liam's, I swear. I'm just looking after it for him. But I just go for the standard edition. I wouldn't give two fucks. GTA Online might as well be fucking non-existent for me at this point. Like, we're too old and too out of the fucking way to care about that shit now. Like, it was fun in GTA 5 because we were young and we had time to play it. But now it's a young person's game, or people who don't have lives. So fair fucks to them, man.
Yeah,
people who think role play on it and all that shit.
I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to find a way to do a special edition, and it's effectively charging you for GTA Online, like some kind of Ultimate Edition, and it comes with it day one, and otherwise the standard's just the story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same as you, just the story. I'll get it digital, and that's that. Although with GTAs, I do like to have the physical copy.
I'd probably buy the physical copy of it. I'll get it cheaper as well through my job.
But though, Scott, it's the risk of that bad boy not arriving in time.
I mean, it's fine, Liam. It is absolutely fine. For how long we're going to play these games for.
Man's got plans.
We'll get it, collect it. Do you know what I mean? Pick it up from somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know, but it remains to be seen. But alas, there's a lot of games out there. I'd be interested to see what our lovely listeners and viewers are going to go for themselves. Maybe they've left out one that we are not looking forward to, but they are. Let us know in the comments below. You know how it goes. But I'll give a wee quick reminder as we move on now that we've got Pixel Picks Replay on the go. Last week we caught up on May's game, which was Bayonetta, but we had picked for June 2026 Tetris Effect. And if those that don't know, Pixel Picks Replay is a video game book club where we're inviting you all to join us as we replay the top 100 video games from the Pixel Picks list each month, selected at random, and we're just reconvening each month for a wee retrospective chat on what made these games special. Scott, Have you had a chance to return to Tetris Effect? No spoilers, just a yes or no.
Yes. But also, breaking news within the last 46 seconds.
Shoot.
Xbox are planning major layoffs next month. Bloomberg has learned as new CEO Asher Sharma confronts a bleak picture and plans which he calls a reset of the business.
Boo.
But here you go. Let's give every influencer on earth brand new 25th anniversary Xbox. Fuck yourselves, man. Honestly, I tell you something. I'm going to end up fucking exploding, and my blood will be green. Because every single decision they make just fucking irks me. So,
what was the source on that one?
Jason Schreier.
Oh no, we know it's true, people. The Shy Guy does not mess about. He does.
I wonder who it is. It was a studio or something.
He's listed on your YouTube channel as well, by the way. If you're into like video game industry chat and all that, I would recommend go checking it out. Very, very good kind of deep dives. Just him shooting the breeze. Well worth going. But yeah, that sucks, man. That is absolute hot diarrhea. But I'm not surprised. I think I think as time goes on and she starts to get to know the numbers people and all the rest of it, it's going to be a very stark picture. Maybe we catch up on that. But how many more big Xbox chats have we got in us?
Well, for as many times as they make fucking stupid decisions, Liam, so we've been talking about them for years to come. And I'll still be right. I'll still be right.
Here's my next prediction for you, Scott. After the layoffs at the turn of the year in January, just before the Fable thing, they're going to announce another restructuring of Game Pass. They're going to do one again later this summer, where they're going to remove all those day one exclusives completely, no matter what tier it is, and it's just going to be more of a curated library service, and that's how they get it down to like the $10-12 a month. Honestly. And they're going to be like 70 quid.
Just put them out of the misery now, Liam. Put them out of the misery now.
I know. It's but hey, free green Xboxes.
I know. There you go. Everyone who came here, here's your free green Xbox. Fuck yourselves, man. I don't even want one. I barely even play mine.
You would be buzzing. I'd absolutely be like, hey, Oprah gave me this. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like.
How would you get it home?
I think they pick it up. They get a voucher to get one for free.
Oh, right.
That's later, so they'll get it in November. Don't get me wrong. It's cool that they can do that, but I'm also like, I suppose if you do a sweepstake, you're always under the accusation you didn't give any away at all. So this way it's more visible. Again, Scott, it's all marketing. At the end of the day, it's all marketing.
Still shite though.
Okay, it's the FOMO, and we're all suckers for the FOMO.
Keep your people in jobs.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd prefer that, over free shit any day of the week.
I read a fact earlier on that it was 1/3 of the gaming industry has lost their jobs this year or something like that. Because there was a big Ubisoft fucking announcement as well, where they've closed. Is it Winnipeg or some shit like that?
Yep. I think it's hundreds of jobs.
Brandon Sheffield, 1/3 of the game industry has lost their job in the last 2 years.
Fucking shameful stuff, man.
Wild.
Shameful.
But no, the fucking industry's all fine and well because, we're going to get fucking every single game announced for September. Nonsense.
I know. Well, Jeff Keighley said it was fine, so it's fine.
He never said it was bad. I never got my apology for Highguard either. And I'll be coming for it.
It's insane they got away with that. It's insane that we didn't bring that up last week. But
I was holding my tongue, Liam. Biting my tongue.
Alas, well, that does bring us to a cheery end to this week's episode. But
I mean, if you want a cheerier end to it, I will give you a few more options for Ganondorf, if you will permit me.
Of course.
Christian Bale.
Oh, right.
Matthew McConaughey could be a good Ganondorf. Bit of a weird one. But my personal favourite, Liam, coming out of left field, Big John.
Gosh, yeah, he would be good. What about Miriam Margolyes? I think she would make a fantastic Dorf.
She'd make a fantastic...
Swear for the children.
Yeah, she'd make a great Dorf.
Or Peter Capaldi.
Lewis Capaldi.
Lewis Capaldi, fuck's jeez. Oh, God almighty. Listen, I would love to go for a pint with that guy. He seems like a great laugh, but his music's fucking terrible.
You'll get away with saying that. If I said that, I'd have the fucking entire universe at my front door.
We'll see.
Because he's pish. I am.
Now they're going to come for you, and I will live to fight another day. But that says, brings us to the end of this week's podcast. Thank you once again for joining us, and remember, support small independent games media out there. If you like what you hear, you
Why
enjoy
is he
the
American
show.
when he sings?
I have no earthly idea, mate. No earthly idea. But that says, if you like it, you like the show, you enjoy it, just share on social media, tell your pals about us, or leave a wee 5-star review, whatever you do. Helps us out and makes a big difference. Go join our free Patreon community at patreon.com/pixelparents to enjoy and support the show. I feel like Big John reading a Chinese order here. Scott, test time. Where can people find you online if they want more of your chaotic musings?
Oh, fuck, I'll be on there somewhere. Lamaman.bsky.social. Aye, fucking tired.
But it's some weeks. You've done well. You can get me on Blue Sky at carmelite.bsky.social. And a big thank you to our producer and music man, very talented and handsome, Mr. Sean Murray. Go show him some love. Check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. And you can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms, not all as chaotic as this week's one. And follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. Of course, write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. Wherever you are, please like, share, subscribe, and play some damn games. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thank you for listening.
Lewis Capaldi for Ganondorf. Start the movement now.